That should do it. Alright, everybody, what's going on? What's going on? Back with the Forge Friends. Probably gonna work on our demonic flesh today. On these legs, do some Nurgle-esque blends. And, I don't know, we'll see where life takes us from here. Maybe get into some trim? I don't want to speak too soon. We'll see. We will see. I also found a pretty chill playlist of relaxing Monster Hunter music, which I'm pretty jazzed about. When did I get the Forge Friends? A while ago. Tavish got me one when I helped him with some Night Lords way back when. And I picked up another from that Eldar Chaos Space Marine box set from last edition. And they've been sitting like this with a base coat and zenithal lighting for a little while, but mostly just rotting in the pile of shame, so it'll be good to good to put a dent in them. Skin blends. For Nurgle demons, I don't exactly have anything set in stone here. I got some Death Guard and Nurgling Green in the old paint box, so that might be a good start. Not the best variance or shift in tone here. But I might use some Militarum contrast, because I have no other use for it, really. What's going on, Majeres? Should I start a Custodes when everyone says they suck and I love the lore and the models? Well, the tabletop game is in service to the lore, you know? Like, yeah, maybe they suck. But you know what, you don't have to go to tournaments. I guess it depends on your play group, though. If you play in a competitive play group, then you might be signing yourself up for a bad time, maybe. And just something to consider. I should have a Vallejo skin color. That's purple. Yeah, like a purple shadow. That might be good as a color range for demonic flesh, right? For Nurgly flesh, that gets a bit more reddish towards the seams. Let's begin with just picking up where I left off on the last stream. This should be Death Guard green. I agree with Melon's sentiment. Rules change. Lore doesn't change too often. lore can't change, but anyways, yeah. If you like the models and you have a fun kind of vision in mind for an army project, I think that's where the real reward is. Yeah, I didn't do the best coverage when I ended last night's stream, but I think this is an adequate amount of blends. Or an adequate coverage to begin the blending. Vallejo Fantasy Pro Purple Shadow. Let's give it a whirl. Let's experiment a bit. Let's get crazy. Let's see what we can, let's get nuts, right? Okay, so already this is looking quite close to the armor color, which might not be a bad thing. Might not be bad. Might create a natural kind of, you know, you don't want it to be too stark. Sometimes with the way the heavy metal guys paint demonic flesh on the Black Legion models, you get like a nude, kind of exposed kind of appearance on some of the demonic models. So from that perspective, I kind of like a more subtle demonic flesh rather than something super stark. Gotta bring that green back though. Almost like an off green. It's not quite you know, it's not a salamander's green here. It's very tan, very muted. The slight purple flesh of the Vortex Beast, eh? Hey, Miku. Was more so looking to harness the Great Unclean One kind of energy, but a Mutalith might be a good source point for a Tzeentch demon skin. I'll keep that in mind. I'll definitely keep that in mind. Okay, let's try and get some Nurgling green. Let's see where that takes us. I'm doing a bit of a test on this demonic quadricep. I also wonder how much I can just enhance this kind of idea by just placing some controlled washes towards the edges of these skin segments. That might be a better way to do it. Just hit it with a Koroberg Crimson. It'll probably be more efficient. And I just focus on the gradient being a little more subtle, less refined, and then have the wash do the work. That's probably better. I think so anyways. We'll have to test it. Maybe we can test it on this lower leg segment. How's it going, Kit Bash? What is going on? What is going on? What are you working on? What is chat up to? I got some Koroberg Crimson here. I'm gonna get my safety stand so I don't have any terrible disasters. It should. It should prevent it, right? Oh, this music is like putting me in my happy place, basically. So wholesome. Okay, so what happens if I just put some Karlberg in the recesses? And I wonder if while it's wet I can get in there and do some work, you know? Okay, let's see if we can fan that out. I think this might be the way to do it, to be honest. And with the wash pooled up here, I'll just use that. Might as well use it when life gives you lemons, you know? What's going on, Victor? Thanks for joining. Thanks for boosting the hobby camaraderie. And I agree with the sentiment. I think you gotta follow your heart. The hobby is too laborious to not be enjoying. I think your time will be, or your hobby time, your hobby experience rather, will be more enjoyable if you're driven by something a bit more passionate, something you're excited to work on, because the hobby requires a fair bit of work. No, I think the Karlberg Crimson's adding a lot. Let's see if we can make it a bit more intense. I think I'm not going to use Meltarum Tempestus contrast on this after all. I think it might darken things a bit too much. Maybe I'll do a bit of Poxwalker shade experimentation. It's one of GW's newer shades, and it's I guess like a Colia green shade, but dirtier. It's kind of hard to describe. But maybe a Nurgle adjacent demonic flesh color like this is a good spot for it. Oh shoot! You know what? Let me get my lights. Let me fix my light a little bit here. Oh Jesus! Okay. Maybe that'll make things look a little better. I'm going to even out this this leg, at least the front elements. And then I'll come back with the Poxwalker. Pretty sure I have that right here. You can see how terribly it's separated. It's kind of like this color. Like a cool shade. You gotta get 800 points painted by Friday. Well, I'll send you my energy. And that's about the best I can do. You'll have to be like Goku and ask chat to send you their energy. While we wait for that to dry for a second coat, I'll shake up this Poxwalker. I managed to do it. It required all of my strength. Also, what's up, Pollux G? How's it going? I agree. Tesseract Glow is infamous. my Tesseract Glow is like 50% green and 50% yellow. It's not here, or else I'd flash it on camera. Yeah, that's a paint that likes to separate, for sure. That's a fun meme, sending your energy through chat. I like it. Okay, let's see what happens with a bit of Poxwalker Shade. Maybe all over? Is that a bad idea? Good idea or a bad idea? I don't know. Is it hurting more than it's helping? Making things look more interesting? And it's called Poxwalker, so it's on brand. This is how I try and justify my indecision. Okay, let's try and work with it while it's wet. Get some of that Nurgling green. What happens if we just try and layer in here? It's actually a bit too thin. Well, when Oliver Wash is, I guess, you know, behaving as you would expect, it's sitting in the striations, like the recesses of the musculature, which is, I think, adding that expected layer of detail. It's like helping it pop in the way you would expect. How's it going, Lisa? Working on some GSC tanks? Are those Brood Brother tanks, or are they Goliath truck type tanks? Where's my bottle cap? Well, this one will have to do. I had one for metal, but I must have tossed it when I was cleaning up. This is for some spots I missed. And then the other guy had a missing spot on his cannon. Yes, right here. It seems like these areas are metal, so might as well. Don't want to waste that paint. So I'll apply them to the cannons, because we're going to cover these areas with demonic flesh too. So we might as well hit those underneath metal areas that would be visible. And I think it's safe to kind of do this haphazardly. Goliath rock grinder and nice, and an AdMech Doomcrawler. That's kind of cool. That's like the what are those guys called? The Twisted Cog or the Sharp Cog? One of those brood, one of those these GSC cult sub-factions were kind of AdMech adjacent. Okay, that used up the metal paint fairly well. This pleases me. Bladed cog. I knew it was some kind of cog. Yeah, bladed cog. Yeah, I think the Death Guard green with Nurgle green as the highlight, Nurgling green as a highlight, with the two washes is the way to go. Henceforth, this will be the Nurgle Demon Flesh color I use everywhere. We've figured it out. Mission accomplished. Feels good. We'll get some Kuroberg going on this inner leg here. Trying to spread it out a little bit. Creates a nice bruised sort of look. And I don't know if it's a good idea to let this dry first or start mixing in the other wash. Maybe if I liked the result, I should follow the same process. What's all the doomsaying about the GSC? The Codex? Is it purely just a competitive lack of teeth? Is that the shtick? The big criticism? Is that the scathing offense? Or is there a thematic failing in the Codex? I would be more aggrieved by the latter, personally. Feels like the greater evil. Yeah, okay, I could see Brood Brothers being detachment locked being a big sad. That's for sure. Nerfing of Aberrance is, it sucks, but I don't know. Potency issues are less offensive to me personally. It is awkward. It is awkward, especially if you can find contradictions or, you know, awkward stat comparisons or ability comparisons within your own codex is even worse, but you know, if it's ever a case like a one wound Chaos Space Marines where all other Marines have 2 wounds, I think you got a pretty strong argument. Pretty strong argument for something being poorly ruled. I really wish this Forge Fiend didn't have this hoof back here. Like, why? Why not just claws all around? Why is it like a Tyranid with the back legs being hoofed? I think if you're building the Mauler Fiend, I think you can put these back here and then you'll have different arms. Because I think you only get one set of these cooler feet. Let's try and get an even coat, and then I'll get into the washes right away this time. See if I can speed up this recipe. Oh, thank you, Kitbash. I quite like the experimental recipe. It has bared? Yeah, bared fruit, or it has birthed fruit, whatever. You get it. You get what I'm saying, alright? I'm sure everyone understands. It was a success. What's going on, Joshua? Is this going to be an amazing Wordbearer's Forge Fiend? I hope so. I hope so. We'll see. We'll see if the Forge Fiend can outperform the Spartan. It's so sad. Man, yeah. I had such high hopes for the Spartan. It's just, I'm not one to blame dice, but I think it's I think it's a me problem, not a Forge Fiend problem. Oh boy. You look at those 8 last cannons and you're like, oh, it's gonna just wreck. Nope. No, evidently, wounding on 3s is not, it's too difficult for my level of luck. Too high of a bar. And maybe the Forge Fiend will roll better. Maybe because it'll glow green, it'll be a bit luckier. This is the Cope talking. What is going on here? We're gonna paint it flesh. It's probably not super imperative to be accurate on a machine that is literally a blend of flesh and steel. You know what I'm saying? He used to often calling us transphobic for failing, for rolling badly. I don't quite follow the reference. Speaking of phobic, in that last thematic list build, I sort of coined a term, well, for me anyways, legends phobic, and I quite like it. Because some people are certainly legends phobic, and I don't think that's the way people should be. I think people should accept all kinds of units. Gotcha, Misfit, gotcha. I understand the context. Joshua Bacon, I'm using your thematic Iron Warriors list as a jumping off point. And if we want to do a 10th edition Word Bears, it's probably going to inspire my Word Bears expansion. I have something in mind for the Bears of the Word, but I want to iron out a few things with my homebrew stuff first, because there might be a bit of a plug, a bit of a hey, this list just happens to work swimmingly with this detachment that's much more thematic. Check it out, if you know what I'm saying. Let's blue this guy's leg here. You know what, Miku? Maybe that's worth a try. Maybe it's worth doing a literal dark pact to make my probability better. When art imitates life, or I guess the opposite. The opposite of that. Not sure what this tube should be. Maybe we'll wait till the end. Maybe a bright green is the answer. I kit bashed in quotations basilisk off of eBay. That could mean anything. That could be a a real rescue. But rescue projects are fairly satisfying, right? These rear legs are a little pain because of this tail here. I wonder if I could have kept this tail off in sub-assembly. It's been quite a while since I built this model, so I can't remember how it went together. I see your message, Miku. Get some selenite. I'm not familiar with selenite. Is that a kind of mineral? A kind of precious stone that brings good luck? Oh, I see, Miku. Well, that's good to know. That is good to know. And good on you for putting out those positive vibes. Need more people like that. I think I screwed up the order on this rear leg here. Excuse me. Excuse me. Just want to paint some of these grooves in here with some blue. Make them pop a bit more. I'll pull some of this out. Collecting multiple legions simultaneously. It is a slippery slope, I think. But I think the way to do it is the way Sultan from Sultan Plays does his Space Marines, where each chapter, he has multiple chapters, and from what I can tell anyways, each one is basically a thematic list. So it's minimal overlap. You can't avoid it completely, especially when you only have one battle line option as far as Marines go for Chaos. Unlike the Loyalists, which are spoiled for options. But I think that's probably the way that feels best long term, so you don't just end up with, oh, now I need to buy, you know, Havocs for each of my Legion armies. But I mean, if that's something you like, don't let, you know, I'm just sharing my thoughts. Don't let it sway you. If your heart was set on realizing these, you know, it's your hobby. It's your hobby. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Need more of that Death Guard green. Maybe for the second Forge Friend, I'll batch all the demon areas at the same time. It's probably the smarter choice. But it's kind of nice just to getting lost in the hobby, you know? Uh-oh. Yeah, don't get too lost there, Victor. I don't know if you guys heard that on mic, but the weather where I'm at is a bit upset. So we'll see if, you know, if the stream goes down, it's not, you know, I'm safe. Just the power went off, and there'll be a wrap on the stream, but probably won't come to that, right? I mean, what are the odds? Probably worse odds than doing 4 damage with 8 lascannons, right? God, I can't believe that. I fired a Sparta. I fired 8 lascannons. Got 9 hits because of Dark Pacts, which feels great. Everything's going awesome. And my opponent starts sweating, and he's like, oh boy. And I'm like, trust me. Trust me, this isn't gonna go well for me. And then I get 2 wounds. Oh, painful. And then, of course, passes both on a 4-up invulnerable save. God. And that comes back to, like, why I hate invulnerable saves. Like, just the worst. Just the worst mechanic. Never tell me the odds. Yeah, that's a good attitude to have for sure. Oh, Custodes is a great army for for people who hate being burned by dice. Yeah, high toughness, good skill, good saves. It is. They're good for that. That's for sure. Not jealous at all. No, in that particular example, it's just one of those moments, right? One of those crazy dice moments where it's so opposed to the average that you'd expect from 9 dice winding on 3s. Oh shoot, I missed a spot here. Missed a bit of flesh. We'll do it live. Yeah, Sisters of Battle seem like a pretty nifty army. I think they're important. I know Space Marines are the poster boys, but to me, Sisters of Battle and AdMech are like the most unique in terms of the grimdark flavor they bring with them. Like far future witch hunters, you know, that are obsessed with hunting down heresy specifically. Like the church, the militarized, like it's just so radically grimdark compared to, you know, Space Marines are a bit clean, you know, not quite as grimdark, in my opinion, you know. Well, I'll caveat that. And that opinion of mine is what informs my dislike of the newer Sisters units, because I feel like they're inching closer and closer to Space Marines, especially with the power suits. And yeah, while it's cool, it's just less of a witch hunter thing, you know? Less of that witch hunter energy. Whoops. Okay. Oh, we gotta clean up this. Clean up those harsh divisions in the wash. It's too much. Well, we're about a year into 9th edition, or sorry, 10th edition now, right? What's up, Donzilla? Oh, how about that? The little blue member badge. Nice. Nice. That's kind of fun. You know, I made those a while ago, and it's like, oh, they pop up. It's so it's so novel. How's it going there? How's it going? What are you working on? A Sororitas chariot. Interesting. Tell me more, Joshua. Would it be like that Junith character on a plinth, like a hovering chariot, or are you thinking more of a Prince of Egypt kind of chariot? A chariot pulled by a bunch of cherubs. Nice. Certainly has that grimdark angle, that's for sure. Yeah, pulled by a Penitent Engine could work. That'd be a fun custom character, actually. Because it's feels thematically suitable. Now, I guess Junith does exist, and those engine guys, those mortifier guys exist too. That's possible. Yeah, I think, you know. Don't give you ideas? Oh, I'm so sorry. How could I have done this? Yeah, something between Junith and Logan Grimnar, exactly. God, I forgot that guy has a chariot. That's so funny. Definitely takes away his mystique. We saw some very cool Ghost slash Banshee using AOS Night Haunt for sisters. What kind of unit were they counting as? Was it like a Repentia count as, or? Okay. Previous edition, 5th, I played Sisters using Blood Angels rules, turning Immolators into Bale Predators. It's not the worst Councess, to be honest. Alright, so for these jaws, these ectoplasmic jaws, I wanted to do the same scheme, but probably put the red wash towards where the metal meets the trim, or sorry, the flesh meets the trim, and then maybe along the gum line too? I guess, yeah. Oh yeah, Lady Olander Saint would be pretty cool. Pretty cool. Similar height, I would imagine. Yeah, that's a little bit of fun creative potential for Sisters players too. You could have, you know, your order of such and such, and you know they venerate this particular saint, and then you could have a fun little unique saint model too. That is pretty cool. That's a cool flex that really only they can do. Ah, thank you, Victor. I appreciate the compliment there. Yeah, and I think the green skin's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. I think it's not overly stark, but just enough contrast. I think using the Kurlberg wash is a good choice. Oh, that sounds fun, Niku. Don't party too hard. Oh, you know what? If the atmosphere is such, then maybe you should. You're really motivated to get better with green stuff, Pollux. That is a satisfying path to go down, but it is very laborious. You're basically entering a space of making your own models, which is why it's so why it's so rewarding. But boy, does it feel bad to thumbprint your the thing you just painstakingly sculpted. Maybe you won't have that problem. Maybe that evil will stay with me. Let's layer up these jaws, these gums a little bit. I think I have to brighten up the skin so that the Poxwalker shade can do its thing, you know? It'll have a stronger effect over a more neutral, a less red skin tone. Because I suspect those two will just cancel each other out. I think I need to wait a little bit for this to dry. I don't really want to, but I guess I should start putting down some skin colors on the second Forge Friend. I want to try and name these Forge Fiend streams some sort of like friend-based pun each time. Like the Forge friends we made along the way, or like today's stream title, Forge Friends with Benefits. You've got a Forge friend in me. Like that sort of thing. I'm honestly not sure what to title these streams. They're just they're literally just for hanging out and having fun, right? So I figured I might as well have fun with the title too. Probably not the best for you know, algorithm search purposes, but I don't think YouTube would show live streams to people who aren't subscribed anyways. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the verdict on that is. Yeah, sliced melon. A forged friend in me is a forged friend indeed. Perfect. Where's that null oil? Where did I put you? Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right about that, Miku. Let's get back to our first Forge Fiend. It should be dry enough. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Pretty good. Now, if everything goes according to plan, these Forge Fiends should turn out to be very eye-catching. That sort of large OSL. OSL has a lot of wow factor. It's kind of like how the Redemptors with the plasma guns look pretty good. Quite eye-catching. Cool. Ready for the Poxwalker Shade. Oh, is that right, Melon? I'll take you up on that offer. Let's do it. I like to prearrange my games anyways. So, hell yeah, let's do some custom word bearers against some Grey Knights. That'll be fun. That'll be fun. I'm gonna try a big blob of 10 possessed, maybe? I don't know, we'll see. There's some time. There's some time to modify some listy poos. My preferred plasma color, I guess green, but couldn't do it on the salamanders or the firekeepers for obvious reasons, because it wouldn't contrast well, right? So I did theirs in a classic kind of good guy blue. I feel like the right answer for preferred plasma color is whatever you determine for your scheme that looks best, right? I've seen some magenta plasma that looks pretty cool, but maybe it's the Doom the Doom video game in me, but kind of can't help but associate plasma as being blue. In my heart of hearts, I think plasma is blue. I find it funny for Chaos, it's like red. Like a lightsaber, it's evil. So your plasma turns red. I think the idea with like the Death Guard, it was justified that the plasma's older, like it's a, you know, it has aged or something to that effect. Much like their older marks of armor and all of that, but I can't help but headcanon that it's like a lightsaber. We gotta change our plasma because we're no longer good guys, we're bad guys. Very funny. If I had to guess, Kid Dash, I think it's just association, right? Like, Doom, you know, the original Doom on PC was a formative shooter, I think, for many people, and a formative sci-fi game, probably, as well. With a plasma gun, and then, you know, it's cool. It was a cool weapon. You're shooting blue energy out instead of, well, like your shotgun or whatever. And I think it just kind of sets a trend. And sets a precedent. But I think it's definitely the right call to just make your plasma color for your army whatever looks best for your color scheme. Crap. Loyalist Plasma is inspired by TNG Warp Core color. That's based. Well said, Kitbash. I wholly agree. Off to bed, Victor. Well, thanks for tuning in, bud. Thanks for tuning in and sharing that hobby energy. Have a good night. Man, I forgot to paint the metal on this piston back here too. Damn. Probably shouldn't be surprised. Such is my method. Alright, let's get that metal color back out. The question is, where did I put it? That sounds like a dope idea, Joshua. The rotary cannons from the Heresy weapons. Certainly solves the issue of having only one chain cannon in the box. Jeez. Getting on to the Salamander's 8th edition strats, eh, Miku? Man, that supplement. It warms the cockles of my heart. Those stratagems like Strength of the Primarch. It was good times. Good times when Salamanders could just crunch stuff in melee. You had to, it's a little dicey. I think it's like if wound rolls on a 6 were double damage or something. But, so good. So good. Just big swings from a chapter master or a captain with a thunderhammer. The best. The stuff heroes are made of. Perhaps that's why I'm less attracted to salamanders this edition, because I feel the lack of the supplement, you know, those mechanics I was so fond of. In the old relic and trait system, you could really tune up a character, really create something that was, yeah, at times overpowered. I'm sure that was the case, but also you lost a lot of flavor with that. Lost a lot of flavor losing the traits and relics. The process of turning a narrative game into a kind of a competitive one, I suppose. It is a concession that must be made. Nice, Miku. I like those mechanics. In some cases, in 10th, like, it feels like you could have kept some of those mechanics in there, but they chose other ones for perhaps a justifiable reason. I haven't done a deep dive. It came up in a hobby call either last week or this week, where it's like you're making an Alpha Legion detachment. And Alpha Legion had two custom weapons. A precision knife and a precision bolt gun, so that you could have a sniper lord or an assassin lord. And they chose the precision knife for 10th edition, which I'm no follower of Alpharius. Jesus Christ, words are hard. But it seems to me that Alpha Legion had snipers in 30k. They had a sniper character in Exodus in 30k. It feels like what you want to preserve is the sniper lord, not the knife lord. So 10th edition has some choices like that as well, where there's design space to preserve some of the things that were flavorful, but you know, the choices they make are the choices they make, and so you know, it is what it is. I'm sure if I was an Alpha Legion guy, I would be much more perturbed, because I probably would have been attached to my sniper lord. That would have been kit bashed, you know, the me of that timeline. Probably would have kit bashed or converted a custom lord. Be like, oh, look how sick this guy is. He just shoots everyone's heads off. And then I'd be big sad when I couldn't use him anymore. What did I paint? Oh, I left it, Armor color, okay. Okay. You know what, Joshua? You may have a point. And I say it, I feel like I say it every time this comes up. I haven't looked into Crusade for, in this case, Chaos Space Marines, so maybe the Alpha Legion Sniper Lord is made available in Crusade. But I don't know if that's like the right distinction, you know? Like, Crusade is fairly involved, and I think people want to play flavorful games without having all the additional campaign tracking, you know? At least I think so, I would imagine. I imagine because that's my position. Oh boy. Surely I'm not alone. There's dozens of us, you know? Maybe the paradigm should be for future editions, because you can't... GW's committed, right? They can't change the course mid-edition. That would be awkward for a number of reasons. But maybe the paradigm should be... You have these very tight, minimal detachments with enhancements. With stratagems, you know, whatever your stratagem set is, and then you have your 4 enhancements. It's only 4, right? 4 enhancements. And then maybe instead of a huge Crusade system, you bring back the traits and relic lists that, you know, sub-factions would have to give them their narrative flavor, their thematic flavor. And then for your tournament organized events, you keep to the standard we have now. Yeah, you're playing serious competitive wargaming. It's just these 4 enhancements for a tight and balanced gaming system. In that sort of mindset. Maybe that's a better lay of the land. I don't know. Especially when, like, in the case of the Salamander supplement, right? Or spoiled as a Space Marines player, obviously, but you have that flavorful supplement pack for 2 editions, or maybe an edition and a half, you could say. And then, you know, you have these rules, and then so as a person who's passionate about the hobby and you know, their army and all of this, you build characters, you build, hell, even custom units or whatever, because of the tools that you have available. And then to lose them, it definitely saps the joy. Like, I wonder if that can apply to other factions, not just Space Marines. Like if Tau had a stealth Daleth Sept for 2 editions, which I think they did. Daleth had the stealth tactics and such. If you build a Daleth army, because you're so inspired and you love stealth and you love robots that are stealthy, and you know you're using clear cast, you're using cool paint jobs that are half decloaked, half cloaked. You know what I'm talking about. If you see Instagram paint jobs or Reddit paint jobs, it's pretty popular. Like, do you feel bad when you look at the Tau Codex? And you're like, oh, geez, where's my stealth? My stealth faction? My stealth army is clearly not served. My hobby efforts were kind of shunned. I missed a piston here as well. Whoa, Joshua, that sounds like a pretty cool playgroup. A 9-week season Crusade League. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I guess my biggest gripe with Crusade is not, like, well, beyond the bookkeeping side of things, which is like different strokes. Like, I don't think that might be a preference thing for me. But I think a more objective issue with Crusade is just waiting for your book to come out. Like, if you were an Imperial Guard player last edition, and then you're trying to play this Crusade League with your buddies, you're using the core rulebook Crusade for like the whole edition, and then you had 5 months, which feels bad. Yeah, the GW's Crusade rules should just be a giant tome released at the start of the edition. And it doesn't have to worry about being balanced because it's narrative, in air quotes, you know what I mean? Like, it's not trying to be a balanced system, it's just a narrative system, so whatever, just preserve that flavor and dole it out. I wonder if doing that, how much that would affect the perception of matched play. Like, if Crusade came out in that way, and all factions were like, holy shit, they had a supplement worth of Crusade rules at the start of an edition, I wonder, I might try to pivot that into my local play group. Like, yo guys, I know I've been cold on Crusade this whole time, but hear me out. All our rules are here. Yeah, the more I think about it, a big crusade tome at the start of an edition is the way to go. And then you could supplement it throughout the edition too, right? More missions, more. I mean, I guess you could do more rules for the sub factions as well if you really wanted to. But as long as it's like for all, like general enhancements or weapon tables, relic tables, things like that. You wouldn't, because like what you want to avoid is the problem you have currently, where 10th edition comes out, Tyranids and Necrons get their codexes, and the Space Marine player is so fucking jazzed, right? He's so like pumped to play Crusade because now he could, I don't know, have a guy die and become a Dreadnought, whatever, right? And then everyone else is like, oh well, I guess I'll take +1 leadership from my battle scar in the core rulebook. It was really, really fun, really satisfying and rewarding narrative I have for my Eldar, or whatever else is not the first two codexes. How's the metal of this guy? Because I didn't wash it at all, so I'm wondering if it's bad. If it's bad. I could probably do with a wash. Okay, we'll pause on the flesh for a bit. And wash our demonic jaws. What are Forge friends for? Nice, Melon, nice. Might be jumping the gun here, trying to apply this before the known oil has dried fully. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe the colors will intermingle and will be all right. That's a lot of poolage down there. Okay, we'll do the outsides first. A lot of poolage. I saw the Age of Sigmar Chaos rules on Warhammer Community yesterday. Did a little peruse, and I noticed their army rule is, I think it's called Eye of the Gods, and it is essentially like a Chaos boon, but for any unit. And you kind of dole them out at the end of each turn. And it seems very, you know, thematic, very fun. You can, I think it's a d6 table, and on a 1 it does nothing, on a 6 you choose. It's that kind of setup. And that unit gets that perk for the rest of the battle, or, you know, one of the items in the table is Restore Wounds. But I wonder, like, if you have different stats to keep track of across multiple units in your army, if that's too cumbersome or not. I guess you could use a dice or tokens to... you would have to, right? To know that, oh, this unit can move a bit more, or this unit has +1 to hit. It was interesting. I definitely think tokens have an appeal, but maybe there's a point where it becomes too, like, it's not fun anymore because there's too many tokens going on. Alright, we'll give that a little bit of time to dry. I don't think I have any bronze up here. I do not. So I can't do the... Some of these stacks I'd like to make bronze for some... just a bit of variety. But can't do that, so maybe I'll just do some Nurgle Green over our first Forge Fiend's Jaws. I'm actually going to mix the Nurgle Green with the Death Guard Green just to make it a little less intense. Yeah, definitely am satisfied with the color variance achieved by the two washes. I think it's big money value. Big money value for the effort it cost. on your Disco Lord, eh, Kit Bash? Nice. I love the Disco Lord. He's so cool. And yep, a lot of trim, these have quite a bit of trim as well. That's gonna be a problem for a future me. Sucks to be that guy. Right now, we're putting the paint on its skin. He's based red, so doing trim, if that's all I do, at least he be okay for a friendly game for now. You know what? From your message, I can tell you are a man of culture. Taking the effort to make your models acceptable for play, even if it's to a minimal level, is already above and beyond. I'm a big fan of the for lack of a better word, the gentlemanly agreement of putting down painted models. It's like an unspoken agreement, but I feel like it's a courteous thing to do for a fellow wargamer. Right, you're putting down models, you took effort to paint something, and they took effort to paint something so that together you can have a cool narrative tabletop experience, right? And it doesn't have to be Golden Demon, it's just it's like the intent, right? It's almost like the intent is what keeps the immersion intact. Alright, so at least all the Death Guard green base coat's done. I can just do a round pass of the Kuroberg, and then it'll come together relatively quick. I'm hoping. At first I was kind of cautious not to get these washes on the metal components, but after you factor in that a Demon Engine is a blend of demon and machine, it's like, why? Why does that distinction matter? Because it probably doesn't. Probably helps those two materials look more cohesive if there's a bit of tinted hues between those components. guess the flaw of this method is that you can't really work with the wash while it's drying. And if you're layering the colors back in, it's not the biggest deal, but wet blending is often smoother than dry blending. Well, that's a bit more potent than I would like. What to do about that? Guess it just is what it is. You can kind of use it as a reservoir of sorts. Not for long, though. As for a color for these ectoplasmic jaws, I'm thinking actually a black might look really cool. Well, more like an incubi, like an off black. It might contrast better with the glowing elements, just to keep the teeth darker. And it makes them a bit more unique than the usual bone color teeth or claws that sprout from the Chaos Space Marine armor. I just saw your message, Miku. Once I do this, I'll take a look at the Discord once I finish this last cannon here. And the wash needs time to dry anyways, right? Alright, let's take a look at the old Discord. In the Manufactorum, let's see here. See some Space Wolves. Dark Angels. Some Fire Slayers. You know what? If there's a reference here that's obvious I'm missing it. I can close this down. Need to get some more glaze medium. Don't want the Death Guard green to be too strong. So dilute it down with a bit of this, and I'm thinking it'll be better for layering, because those base paints tend to be pretty thick. Okay, what was that? This is the first one I did, right? Let's try and layer some of this green back in. Really, I want the Carlsberg Crimson to be strongest at the edges. Oh, with regards to yesterday's discussion, Miku, oh. Yeah, I don't, well, to be honest, I'm kind of bad at recalling the aesthetics of other painters being replicated, unless it's obvious, like how my High Fleet Gengar's coconut crab pattern is, you know, adapted from Catgut's coconut crab Tyranids. Like that's far more obvious and easier for me to spot, but maybe that's also because it's closer to me. It's easier for me to pick it out. I'm sorry, Miku. I've failed to pick up the references you're laying down. Alright, it's half of the legs cleaned up from the Kuroberg wash. Oh, crap. Crap, man. Didn't want to... Got kind of sloppy there. Didn't want to get Death Guard green in the crease there. I want to keep the wash in the crease. I want that definition. This takes me back. It's a Resident Evil ambient track that is in Monster Hunter 1. Or at least the older Monster Hunters. And I always thought it was cool because, like, you're playing Monster Hunter. It's a Capcom game also, and then you're like, oh, let me go into this cave and get some ore. And all of a sudden you hear a familiar Resident Evil tune. And like the way the model is, like you guys probably can't see anything underneath here. Which sucks, but nothing much I can do about it. Oh, nice, Melon. Monster Hunter World had an event for RE2 Remake. Sweet. Yes, I quite enjoyed the RE2 Remake. There's something so satisfying about the Resident Evil mansion or police station, depending on the game you're playing. The exploratory puzzle that is the mansion with the different keys and locked doors and backtracking and puzzle solving is very satisfying. It is very satisfique. Finally. I mean, sorry, I just saw your message, Miku. Is there confirmed Resident Evil 5 remake in the works? Like I'm a big fan of Resident Evil 5. Might be a unpopular take amongst Resident Evil fans, but God, that arcadey gameplay is so good. Especially in Mercenaries. My God, I could just play that forever. Sheva! Chris! That's Resident Evil 5. In co-op. That's all you hear whenever someone gets grabbed by not a villager. What are they called? Magini? I can't remember. Dude, I'll play Resident Evil 5 with you. No problem. Dude, Resident Evil 5 is mondo fun. Alright? And if you like the characters of, you know, Chris, Jill, the classic duo, you know, it's kind of like a satisfying, dramatic tale. At the time, I was fairly invested. I was like, oh shit. Why is Jill not with Chris? What happened? And then you see the trailers, and you're like, shit. Such drama. And Wesker? Wesker's very cool in that game. Complete, was it? Is complete global saturation or is it total global saturation? I can't remember. It's really funny. A lot of good one-liners. I tell you, if Capcom just... whoops, I want to stretch. If Capcom just, like, made a arcade mercenary anniversary celebration with just the whole cast across all different battle zones and games, I would be... just take my money. Okay, so I think we're ready for the Poxwalker shade. Seven minutes, that's all I need. When Resident Evil 5 came out, I was like big into video games, where it was like, oh, I need to play on the hardest difficulty and get all the achievements, like that kind of shit. And so when I was playing on the hardest difficulty, that was a quote I heard, like, because I would keep dying, so I would always hear that quote from Wesker. It was so funny. A bit heavy with the Poxwalker on that first leg, so I'll have to circle back and pull from it. What other games are on the horizon? I'm kind of like the Snake Eater remake is. It's intriguing, but I kind of wish it wasn't happening, because I feel like there's a slight obligation to check it out as an old fan of the series, but kind of wish it wasn't coming out. I'm more hyped for a new Subnautica. That is a game I'll need to find a co-op buddy for, if those rumors are true. And that might actually be a decent game to stream, too. I think those, I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to gaming streams, I don't particularly enjoy adrenaline-packed, like, all action all the time kind of games. Like, I kind of like when there's lulls in the action. Maybe it's because I usually hobby while I'm watching someone stream. So it's more conducive to just look up every now and again when something intense is happening. Okay, so Poxwalker Shade went on. Nice. I think I just start getting in here with the Nurgling. The Nurgling Green. And then what time are we at? Okay, we're after this step. Well, the skin will be done. Well, these areas of the skin. So that'll be a good endpoint. Like a chapter, you know, like a chunk of progression was made. A whole component. Let's get some Nurgling Green here to make that pop a little bit more. Poxwalker's a bit heavy in some places, but look, the demonic flesh doesn't really make or break anything. Just saw your comment now, Miku. What about Call of Duty campaigns such as Call of Duty 2 and World at War, similar to Half-Life 2? Good for streaming? Maybe they are good. I haven't played those games, so I couldn't tell you for certain. Probably. I mean, I guess there's always a novelty to seeing someone play a game they've never played before, right? That sense of discovery. People seem to like to watch people reacting to things, right? So maybe that's a value, I guess. Half-Life 2 or Half-Life any would be something I'm more interested in than Call of Duty. Personally, I have heard, like, you know, good praise for the Call of Duty campaigns, or some of them anyways. The Metal Gear remake is also interesting because it's, as far as I know, Kojima is not involved at all. So I'm very kind of curious about it from that point of view. I suppose I could make a quick video out of this Nurgle skin, like a quick and dirty Nurgle skin tone recipe with these 4 paints. Because it is pretty low effort. There's 2 paints and then 2 washes in a particular order, and then that's it. Really knackering my brush today. Oh, you want to replay those games, Miku? Well, I don't know if I necessarily want to watch them be streamed, but I don't know. Just Half-Life is one of those games that feel very prolific, I guess. Like it's, you know, kind of changed the standards and expectations of players. So I feel it is something I want to experience playing at some point. Alrighty, I think that's the skin. Oh man, the wash kind of pooled here a bit too much. It's just all red. Oh, maybe it's okay. Maybe it's not the worst. Oh, I think they're certainly looking more interesting. Cool. Very cool. Well, not quite sure what you're referring to there, Miku, but I think it's about time to wrap up the stream. I hope I'm not cutting your hobby efforts short. You know what? Just because the stream is ending doesn't mean you shouldn't keep pushing through your own hobby goals. All right. Thanks everyone who tuned in and liked and commented and shared that hobby energy. And thanks to everybody who. Oh wait, nope. Never mind. Never mind. Tomorrow I'll most likely be streaming again. And it's gonna be trim time. Quite a lot of trim to do on these guys. Not the most exciting stream, but I'll be I'll be living the dream trimming a Chaos Space Marine army. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for tuning in, and happy wargaming.